Welcome to our session. My name is Morgan DeGiorgio. I am the Senior Vice President, Sales and Marketing for Direct Mail 2.0 and Who's Mailing What, where our sole purpose is to make direct mail the most effective form of marketing by integrating it with cutting-edge technologies. And I'm joined here today with our co-founder and CEO, Brad Kugler. Say hello, Brad.
Hey, guys. Happy to be here. Excited.
All right. Today we will be discussing the power of mail and how we can improve the channel with the use of artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies that lift the response rate and ROI on direct mail campaigns. We will be doing a Q&A at the end, so if anybody has any questions throughout the session, we can address them then. So let's go ahead and kick it off. First things first, let's start with the foundation of it all. And that is direct mail. Direct mail advertising is a $58.5 billion industry with $10.9 billion of that in the US from 2023, which is forecasted to reach almost double that at $20.38 billion at the end of 2024. Now, nearly 72% of businesses use direct mail to generate sales, with over 91% of promo mail is read and opened. I don't know about you, Brad, but what do you do in the morning when you get a bunch of spam emails? Do you read every single one of those, or?
Delete.
Me too, right? So I never get the marketing message. I never see what's in that email, right? But when I go out to my mailbox and I get a mail piece, even if I make the decision to discard it or throw it away, I still receive that marketing message. And it impinges because it takes 21% less cognitive effort to process than digital marketing. It's activating the long-term memory centers in my brain. So when that message is repeated or I see it again, it has very high brand recall. And this is an effective channel for all demographics across the board. So direct mail is such a powerful channel at its core, but traditional mail, or how it's been utilized historically, can be taken to the next level with technology. And we happen to know a lot about that at Direct Mail 2.0 and Who's Mailing What. And Brad is always finding ways to try to take mail to the next level with technology. And with the leveraging of other tactics. So today we'll be focusing on how you can leverage AI to predict optimal direct mail attributes, uncover winning tactics with competitive intelligence, and lift response rates and prove attribution with omnichannel. So harnessing the power of technology to improve direct mail leads to favorable outcomes and results for marketers and print and mail service providers in numerous ways. First way, you're adding value and differentiation. As a marketer, you're standing out from other marketers in the ad space and you're taking advantage of increased ROI. Now, as a print provider, you're harnessing the power of technology to bring mail to the next level. And as Brad would say, you're not just doing traditional ink on paper, right? And this allows you to acquire new mail business and draw it away from mail providers that are solely executing traditional mail. And this is allowing you an opportunity to sell more mail and tap into a greater portion of that $58 billion industry. And also, not lose customers to other print providers, because unfortunately in the print industry, we often find ourselves in a cost-based environment. We're pining for business based on who can do it for less. And that is a very poor place to be. So when you can add value and you can set yourself apart, this removes that cost factor, and it's leading to a stickiness that's keeping clients engaged, and it's going to lead to more reorders. And in the print industry, we pretty much live on reorders. Once you acquire a new customer, being able to secure successful ongoing business from them is integral to our success. And you're going to get better results. You're going to get higher response rates when you're using technology and adding value. You're going to get more leads for your customer, which is also going to lead to more reorders. And from a marketer's perspective, you're going to be able to differentiate yourself with marketing campaigns that are standing out. They're capturing more market share, leading to higher ROI on your marketing dollars. And lastly, with technology, you can find ways to make mail more effective and trim off unnecessary fat in testing scenarios and other ways that lead to saving money on marketing. So let's deep dive into technology that lifts ROI on direct mail. I'm going to turn it over to Brad. He's going to kick us off with speaking about mail and artificial intelligence.
Excellent. Thanks, Morgan. So just to give a little background, myself and my brother bought our first Apple II computer in 1980. I was 13 years old and we saved our dog walking money, and it was like $2,000 and all of our allowance for a year. And we bought this computer. And then one of the first things we were able to do with it is we were able to code a mathematical equation that created a snake that scrolled up and down the screen. So at that point, I was hooked. Data and computers and math were sort of like a thing for me. So fast forward 40 some years, without giving away my age, how do we take this data and turn it into something that's actually usable by people? I don't remember who said it, but someone once said, you give me enough data, I could predict every outcome and when it will happen. So basically, the gist of the AI powered modeling basically just takes past results, compiles them to a point to predict future outcomes. All right. So a lot of people think, oh, this AI is new and it's brand new. It's never been around. There are some parts of it that are new. And just to kind of separate the wheat from the chaff, the new stuff are these large language models that you've seen with ChatGPT and Gemini and Bard, and then some of these sites that create images and stuff. But the power of predicting an outcome based on data is not new. The part that's new about it is the speed and the quantity of data that can be ingested to come out with an outcome. You don't need a room full of computers, and even if you do, they're housed somewhere else with somebody else's information. So it really comes down to, what do you need to predict an outcome? You need a stable, consistent source of data. All right. You must have a long-term history. The longer term, the more data, the better. The next thing you need is you need some talented folks who will take it and create this analysis that will take all of these different data points, and from those data points, they can create the way I'm trying to explain how it's actually done so that this makes sense to people, and it's not the wizardry and science you think that it is and could never be done by you. It can be done by, well, maybe not you, but if you understand how to do it, it's easier to understand where you can go with it. So if you have all this data and the data has a benchmark or a average outcome, then there's outliers that change that outcome. They either made the outcome above this baseline or they made the outcome below the baseline. And there may be subsets of the data that moved that outcome line below or above a center point. So now what you have is, when you encapsulate those outlier pieces of data, you now have things that will move the needle, and you can use those to predict things in the future. So that, in essence, is really what it's about here. So in any data set, you have a mean or an average, and then you have outliers that are above and below that average. And then you have attribution points that cause that needle to move above or below. So by isolating those things and proving that those outliers repeated in numerous situations with other outliers and other data points, you now have a predictive ability that you didn't have before. So, a guy sitting there on pencil and paper cannot do that. It requires computers using a lot of processing power to do that. All right. So how do you do this with mail? Well, you have a few things that are very key. You have a creative piece, you have a targeted list, and you have a location or people that you've sent it to. So they break down into those three major categories. And within there, you have other things. What was on the creative? Was it personalized? Did it have a QR code? What was the image to text ratio? Within the targeting, was it a certain vertical? Was it a certain socio-demographic group? Was it a certain time of the year? Was it a certain location? What did all of these things do to change that outcome? All right. So computers can very quickly manage all of those different variations or attributes or parameters and come up with a prediction or a potential reason with high probability why those things occurred. Next slide, my dear. So this is an example of a model that we've been working on. And again, I'm doing this for educational purpose so you understand how it's done. And I'm hoping this understanding brings you to less fear to using the data, or more understanding that this is something you can actually do from your job or whatever you do in life and take advantage of these tools. So very quickly here, I have about 100 and some verticals. The list goes further than the screen shows. And then we have, if you look in the box for financial services, we've done 1,247 different mailing campaigns. All right. And I'm going to jump down 2 lines and I'm going to go to the total pieces mailed. There's 28.6 million pieces mailed. All right. From those 28.6 million pieces, we had 888,000 engagements. All right. That would mean somebody went to a website, they scanned a QR code, they called a phone number, they did something that was attributed to that piece of mail that we know was caused by that mail. So there is a cause and effect. This isn't a correlation. We know the mail caused those attribution points. So now what we have for that entire category is we have a baseline of an engagement rate per piece, simply by dividing those engagements or attributions by the number of pieces mailed. That 3% is that baseline I was telling you about. So with outliers or other parameters that drove that baseline high or lower, we can predict future effectiveness of mail. All right. This is not a mind-blowing technology. This is math. The technology is the speed of computers and the data scientists that can crunch all these parameters and do it quickly. Next slide. So as an example, what you have here is you have a situation where you can take any ad, or you can take any list, or you can take time of year, and as long as you know that vertical, you can upload that imagery, compare it to the images that were sent prior to those same households for those same verticals during that same time, and you can compare what that creative piece is going to do to the creative piece, the pieces that were sent before. And the computer will ingest millions and millions and millions of rows of data and come out with a predictive outcome of what that piece will do. And along with that predictive outcome, you can tap those outliers that raise that outcome and tell them what to do. Hey, make your QR code 10% bigger. Use these keywords in your headline. You know, each one of those parameters or variations provided a lift over a large set of data that can be used to predict the lift on future results. Not exactly, it's not guaranteed, but it's better than just shooting something in the mail and hoping for the best. All right. So kind of thing you need to do is you need to know what your goals are. Are your goals is this a customer loyalty piece? Is this a piece that's made to get somebody to come into a store? Is this a piece that's made to get someone to go to a website? Because you want to correlate past data to your goals. If you're doing a customer loyalty piece and the models are predicted against a brick and mortar retail, you're not going to get the correlation, and therefore you might not get the data result or predictive model you want. So the data you're using is very important. Obviously, not everybody has the ability to do this. You need to find a provider who can do this for you. And will they take your own data? Do they have data that matches or is correlatable to the data that you have? If it's not, I don't care how much data they have, but if what they're doing and what you want to do kind of miss each other, the models aren't going to work. All right. Now, if you want to build this yourself, there are AI platforms where you just dump your data, you define what your results are, and out come some results. Obviously, you need somebody qualified to do this, and that's above my pay grade. So what we did is we interviewed many companies, and we explained to them our data. We gave them samples of our data. We wanted to be sure that the models they're going to build hold water. In fact, one of the things we did, we hired 2 different data science companies. We gave them the same data with the same parameters and had them actually build a proof of concept using the same data and the same parameters. So therefore, if one didn't get a result, we at least had another set of brains working with another set of math equations and hopefully would get a different outcome rather than start all over or give up. So the process is tedious. It requires an expertise, but you know what? It will work and the data is useful. Next slide, please. Or am I done?
You're done. I mean, that's a lot of really.
Just as I can say, I love talking about this stuff. I love
Yeah.
finding uses for data. Please bring it up in the Q&A after the session. And I want to hear your data problems and your AI problems and give you what I know.
Yeah. I mean, really good information, right? We always want to know how we can improve direct mail campaigns. And with the artificial intelligence insurgence, I think there's a lot of use cases there. And Brad I like, Brad, how you made it like at the elementary level so they understand the technology and then the applications thereof within mail. I mean, it really was a good explanation of how this technology can be used to improve direct mail campaigns and the results. So thank you, Brad. Yeah. And now that we talked a little bit about AI, now I want to discuss how you can uncover winning tactics for mail with competitive intelligence by gathering insights from competitors' mail pieces. And then you can use that data to create high-performing direct mail campaigns. So the first thing you need to do is you need to build a collection of mail pieces, or more importantly, a collection of your competitors' mail pieces. And there's a couple ways you can do this. There's some subscription services out there that they provide direct mail samples across various industries you can tap into. You can do some sample requests where you can personally reach out directly to your competitors and request samples. Sometimes also at trade shows, they might be showcasing direct mail pieces or providing samples. So you need to acquire a database, right, of mail pieces, and in particular of your competitors. Now, once you've assembled that mail collection, now you want to run an analysis, and you first need to deconstruct the elements of the mail piece. And when I talk about that, I mean we're essentially breaking it down from its core components to understand what makes it effective, or maybe what makes it not effective. So the first thing you look at is the format. Is it a postcard, a letter, a brochure? Does the format influence the overall message and impact the recipient? Then I want to look at the design. And that includes the layout, the color scheme, the typography, the imagery. I want to ask myself, how do these elements work together to create a cohesive look and feel, or do they? I mean, is it just a bunch of things cluttered on a direct mail piece? And then I look at the message. What is the message? How is it communicated? Does it resonate? Are the calls to action clear, prominent, persuasive? So by analyzing my competitors' mail pieces, I can identify certain trends. For instance, I might notice that the most successful mailers in our industry are using particular color schemes or certain types of offers. And I can use these trends as a starting point for my own campaigns, or how I might want to improve my campaigns. So once I have the components of what is set to be an effective mail piece, I want to focus on targeting and segmentation analysis, because who you are marketing to is the most important piece of the pie. Effective direct mail relies on reaching the right people with the right message and at the right time. And in order to achieve that, you need to understand your target audience and how to segment that. So I want to gather some intel about how my competitors are targeting people, what are the demographics, the interests, the behaviors of the ideal customers. And by analyzing my competitors' targeting and segmentation strategies, I can identify opportunities where I can refine my own approach. Like maybe there's a big hole. Maybe there's a specific segment that my competitors are completely overlooking, and I can capitalize on that. So now I want to talk about benchmarking and improvement, and that entails actually learning from the competitors, not necessarily copying them, because the essence of competitive analysis is not really to replicate what your competitors are doing, but how you can use that as a benchmark for improvement. And I think that that's really what almost any business does, right? Is we're finding ways to improve things so we can come out on top. So by understanding what works and what doesn't, you can refine your direct mail approach. Try to identify trends, but more importantly, the gaps. So pinpoint common elements that seem to be effective, like the design and the offer, but you also need to identify where your competitors are falling short. Like maybe they're not using personalization, maybe the calls to action are weak. When you learn from their mistakes, you can find a way to really improve that mail piece. And you can also take that data to further improve mail by running some A/B testing. So if a competitor is using a particular headline very effectively, you could test that headline with a different angle or a different creative or a different offer, maybe, right? Lastly, I want to talk about leveraging digital integration with competitive intelligence. So the modern marketing landscape demands a seamless integration of digital and traditional channels. It's really not this proverbial tug of war between offline and online anymore. You really should be utilizing both channels. And by analyzing how your competitors are blending their direct mail with digital elements, you can really gain some valuable insights into how you can enhance your own campaigns. Look at their mailers and see, are they using QR codes? Do they use pearls? Look at their social media handles. How are those elements complementing the mail piece? And that can actually give you a lot of clues too about their offer details, their target audience, and also maybe some campaign tracking methods, right? You can see how they're tracking their direct mail campaigns. So to sum it up, by analyzing your competitors' direct mail efforts, you can gain a significant advantage into your own campaigns. And remember, the key is to use insights as a foundation for creating unique and effective mailers that are resonating with your target audience. So that will help you put together the highest performing creative for your customers and your own mail campaigns so that you can have the best possible ROI for your direct mail marketing investment. Or if you're a printer mail service provider, you can really gain intel that can help lift response rates of your customers' campaigns, and that will lead to more reorders as well. So now that we've reviewed competitive intelligence tactics and we've identified best practices for the direct mail piece, I want to talk about how we can boost the response even further from successful creative elements by layering on an omni-channel marketing approach. And I was just talking a little bit about that and leveraging the offline to online. And what I'm really talking about is driving traffic from physical mail to digital platforms, because that can really expand, reach, and deepen customer relationships. By integrating digital elements like QR codes or unique URLs into direct mail pieces, you're creating this seamless transition between offline and online interactions. It's a cohesive experience across channels that's enhancing customer satisfaction and loyalty. And once the prospect gets to the website, which they're probably going to go there anyway, whether you use a QR code or not, but the QR code and the pearls incentive to get them there, so you have a better opportunity to re-engage them with digital. But this is where reinforcement and repetition comes in. By consistently delivering your message across multiple platforms, you increase the likelihood of capturing a prospect's attention. Prospects are inundated with marketing messages. On average, they're seeing anywhere from 4,000 to 10,000 marketing messages a day. So it's even more important for you to utilize a marketing strategy that is standing out in this sea of messages. And this is why you need repetition. It's reinforcing brand awareness, and it's encouraging engagement. And not to mention that prospects are typically engaging in about 8 or more channels in a buying journey with a brand. They prefer to start the journey in one channel. They want to use other channels to do education and research, and then they convert in others. And this is why multiple channels is so important, because it's also not just using multiple channels, but it's the perfect use of these channels that lends to good results. So start with the mail. Okay, you take a physical, tangible direct mail piece, the message is received, it impinges, and then you repeat that message inexpensively through digital channels, giving the prospect multiple opportunities to convert and through the channels that they prefer. Most prospects aren't going to convert right away. Okay, there's so many different variables and reasons that affect when a conversion takes place. And by employing the power of repetition and utilizing multiple channels, you're keeping the brand top of mind. You're creating all of these opportunities for a serendipitous moment when the prospect is ready to convert. That message, that brand, that's front and center. Now, the other thing that omni-channel provides is proving attribution. Okay, and understanding which marketing channel or touch point contributes to a conversion is very crucial for optimizing your campaigns. And omnichannel marketing provides a lot of valuable data so that you can attribute conversions accurately. Now, while understanding which channel drove the final conversion in an omnichannel campaign is important, all channels are playing a part in driving the conversion. So keep in mind that, yeah, you might see that the final conversion took place in this channel, but without the perfect mix of these channels and as like a standalone use case, they will not deliver optimally or provide the best results. It is that perfect mix of offline and online that is lending to the highest response rates and conversion of marketing dollars. And if you want to get more granular on tracking the response rate to direct mail campaigns, just in general, there is technology available that can actually de-anonymize a website visitor and suppress against a mail file so that you can actually tell how many people from a mailing list actually went to a website. And that's really good technology for a lot of reasons, because all roads are leading to the website. Your digital marketing is driving traffic to your site. If they don't convert, you can follow up with them on with mail based on what they were looking at on the website and their specific journey. You can recover lost sales by sending physical reminders to customers who abandoned their online shopping carts. Offer them a little bit better of a deal than what you offered them online and drive them back to convert. So you can start with mail, enhance with digital, and end with mail, right? And you just create this marketing funnel that's driving conversions. You can also reinvigorate relationships with inactive customers. And I'm talking about here, is direct mail retargeting. You can send tailored direct mail pieces based on their previous or online behavior. And you might say, well, Morgan, why would I want to spend marketing dollars to engage my customers? Well, you might be selling them product A, but you may not realize that they're on your website looking at products B, C, D, and E. You already have a relationship with them. Now you have an opportunity to capture additional revenue from existing customers by marketing to them about other products and services that they're showing interest in based on the data that you acquired, right? So lastly, I want to talk about marketing automation platforms. Now, marketing automation platforms are essential for managing and analyzing omnichannel campaigns effectively. These platforms integrate multiple channels into seamless, streamlined experiences for job creation and reporting. They're providing a holistic view of the customer journey. It's one thing to have a large internal marketing department with tons of resources at your fingertips, and it's another to get all those departments to interact and engage together, get budgets approved, and deploy all those channels at the right times, integrated into the mail and with the right budgets. Okay, that sometimes is like moving a mountain. But if you want to tap into a marketing automation platform that has all this down to a science, that can really lend the best results for you. In addition to reporting, where you're going to be able to track those customer interactions across touch points, identify patterns. You can use the data that's provided to optimize campaigns, and you can deliver personalized experiences. So we've talked about a lot today. In a nutshell, AI, competitive intelligence, and omnichannel technologies offer a really powerful approach to increasing response rates, improving customer experiences, and gaining valuable insights into campaign performance. So by combining direct mail with technology and utilizing advanced tools, businesses can achieve remarkable results, and they can skyrocket ROI on direct mail campaigns. So now I want to go ahead and open it up. If there's any questions, Brad and I are happy to answer those.
Bring them on. I want to hear those questions.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for attending this session. Please be sure to participate in the poll on the right side of your screen, and you'll also find a free offer pinned to the chat. The deck for today's presentation will also be available at the bottom of your screen if you scroll down. And let's welcome Brad and Morgan. Hi, how's it going? Thank you for being here.
Our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Are you all ready for questions?
We're ready.
We're ready.
All right, let's get started. So the first question is, do you think that all the AI platforms are basically the same, or do you rely on one more than the other for marketing and content help?
That's a personal preference. I mean, I've tried out Gemini from Google, and of course OpenAI, ChatGPT, and sometimes I'll ask the same thing to both of them, and sometimes I find a better answer at Gemini, and sometimes I find a better answer at ChatGPT. I have not tried some of these other ones for images because I'm a creature of habit. I like the two that I've been using, and I haven't had an issue with them.
Yeah, I like Gemini too. That one does not fail. Okay.
Yeah, I have a preference on Gemini myself.
Yeah.
I actually just tried Grok from X Twitter a few times, and that was pretty good too, I have to say.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah.
Grok? All right. Next question. AI seems complicated to me. How would you get started without a ton of budget or time to invest in this area?
First of all, I'd get familiar with it through one of these freebies like Gemini or ChatGPT, just so you understand it. I would spend a little time watching maybe some videos so you understand the basics and fundamentals of it. Because the more you understand, the harder it is for you to get it wrong or take a few missteps. And then you have to isolate the problem you're trying to solve or what it is you want to use AI for, because there's different platforms that specialize in different areas. Is it a creative thing? Is it a content thing? Is it a numbers thing? Some people use it just to lay out spreadsheets, so it depends on the use. But I don't know. The budget is hard to set because you have to have a goal in mind. And what is that goal? Is it just for your own personal use? Is it something that you're going to automate in your business and deliver at scale to your customers? It really comes down to use case before you can set a budget.
All right, awesome. All right, next question. This is a good question. How will AI impact direct mail in the next 2 to 3 years, in your opinion?
I think that any type of marketing, direct mail included, is going to be massively affected, because what you have in marketing is you have a combination of a science and an art. And we all know there's no guarantees in marketing, and there's a lot of risk, and people recommend test. What AI will do is it will take some of that risk out. It will eliminate some of the need for testing, because the huge amounts of data storage that are out there from different platforms about past campaigns can be leveraged to reduce risk on future campaigns. So anytime you're going to run a marketing campaign for a client and you have data that will help reduce the risk or improve the chances of a successful campaign, that is a good thing. And I think marketing, because of the amount of data now, is perfect for AI use and helping marketing campaigns succeed.
Sure.
Great stuff. All right. Do you think that, oh, sorry, I already read that one. Let's see. Someone said, how will AI work with B2B campaigns?
The same way it'll work with consumer-based campaigns. Honestly, the AI, the only thing that may make it a little more difficult is the amount of B2B campaigns, and the depth of the mail is less. And the more data you have, the more likely you're going to get accurate results. And with a much wider swath of B2C, it may be a little harder to predict as accurately in the B2B campaigns as the B2C campaigns.
Okay, someone said, sorry if I missed this, but when you talked about competitive direct mail research, is there a company or platform that does this for you? Or how are you gathering this data?
Take it away, Morgan.
I mean, there's a couple of different organizations out there that do this for you. I mean, we actually do have a company called Who's Mailing What that houses a massive database of direct mail campaigns, performance insights, and there's a couple of others out there too. But yeah, I mean, you can also on your own. I mean, if you want to compile your own database, you can do competitor mail sample collection. You can find different ways, but if you want to tap into a large database, I would suggest using something like the Who's Mailing What or some of the other organizations out there.
All right, that ends Q&A. Thank you both for being here so much. We appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Thanks. Awesome. It was great.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.